Hi guys, this is Zach from Watches on You, and today I'm at Wixon Jewelers and I'll be reviewing the Explorer II with the white dial. So now let's take it out on the pad and get a closer look at it. Okay guys, so here's the watch in greater detail, and right off the bat I'm going to go off of its 42mm stainless steel case. So Rolex uses 904L stainless steel for their cases, and what that provides is, in my opinion, it provides a much brighter look to the steel. It provides a whiter look, I'd say, and it also looks a lot nicer, in my opinion. I'd say a lot of other watch brands tend to use 316L. I prefer the 904. I think it looks better. It tends to shine better, especially in the brushing, and then the polishing also looks incredibly good. So now on this watch, I really like how sporty the case looks. It's got the standard oyster case, but it's paired with a GMT bezel, which actually is stationary, by the way. You cannot rotate this to perhaps do a third time zone. But I really like the look of it. I love the sporty. I love how kind of sporty the bezel is. See, and what I think really provides it that look are those little triangles in between the numerals. I think that really just adds kind of a more, I don't know, industrial, and as I said before, sporty look. So now moving on to the dial. The dial is a very, very bright white Rolex dial. It is glossy, it is not matte, and it provides a very, very good look. I love how they also on the indices, they did a black border around them. It provides very, very good contrast to the dial and makes the dial extremely visible. Now you can also see that black bordering on the hands of the watch as well, except for the GMT hand, of course. So that provides just a very, very visible dial. Now you get the GMT hand as well, so that just allows you to track another time zone. But one thing to make sure you're aware of is that is in 24-hour time, that is not in 12 hours, so that you will have to use the bezel for instead of the standard indices. Now, this watch actually has a bit of a story behind it. So the truth is actually behind the GMT indicator. The reason this isn't really necessarily advertised as GMT is because that was originally meant, since being it's called the Explorer, it was actually meant for people in like caves and things doing scientific experiments or mining, and the orange hand was meant to allow it for a day-night indicator, because since when you're in a cave no light will get in there, that way you can still know if it's bright out on the surface, if you can't really tell if it's PM or AM. So now we'll go on to a wrist shot. So the 42mm size is, I'd say it's right where I'd want it to be. I wouldn't really want it to be any bigger. I'd say you could go down to 40mm, and I would actually like it if it was 40mm versus the 42, but the 42 is not too big by all means. And actually, the older models of this, before they kind of switched to their new bracelet and clasp design and the ceramic Submariners, the Explorer II in those days was actually smaller than this one. I prefer the size of this, but I'd say there were a lot of quality upgrades, including the clasp, which you can see here, that make this watch worth it over the classic Explorer II. So yes, you can see, instead of having thin kind of, well, I don't really know what you'd call this, but instead of being kind of thin metal like the old ones and pressed, they made it a lot thicker, a lot sturdier, and it feels a lot higher quality. Same with the bracelet. The bracelet is a lot heavier, and that provides a just greater feeling of quality. So I really think that this watch is the quintessential starter sports watch in the luxury range. I think if you're going out there and you want to buy your first truly luxury watch, I think this is a great option. You actually can wear this with anything. I've seen people wear the white dial Explorer II with a suit, and it looks great. I don't think it looked bad at all. It's obviously it's not a dress watch, but you could still wear it to the office perfectly comfortably. I think it looks really good. Now, I would say if the white dial is too, I don't know, funky for you, you can always get the black dial version, which is more conservative. But I really like the white dial. It stands apart, and the Explorer II hasn't necessarily been Rolex's most popular model, so you're not going to necessarily see many of them. You'd for sure see a lot more Submariners, and that's actually why I kind of like this one. You're not going to see quite as many, and it'll kind of stick out from the pack, especially with the white dial. So this watch is available here at Wixon for $8,100. $100. I think that's a great price. I think very, very good quality. You get the GMT function, which is actually, it's a very, very useful function if you travel a lot. And remember to check out our other videos and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.